Evening, chaps. Hope you're good. Hope you are enjoying or surviving the heat, whichever way you feel towards it. I am pretty sunburnt from an afternoon in the garden and the pool, etc. But yeah, making the most of it with the kids. If you can hear a little bit of background noise, I've got a child asleep in the bed next to me, so we've got white noise in the background and the fan. Trying to make it through the evening. So apologies if there is a little bit of background noise, and I hope it doesn't send you all to sleep. So let's have a look at where we're at. This is the league table. Most of the season, 16 wins is exceptional. 11 goals conceded is also exceptional and comfortably a new record, I believe. Warriors have been good in spells and are second. We've got Blitz and Vikings with the Qs, and then this is where it gets interesting for tonight. We've got Dragons, Aborigines and Hobart vying for the last two playoff spots. Essentially, Hobart need to win and hope that Dragons or Aborigines lose because of the goal difference. A point for either or both of them will see them in the playoffs. So this is how we look. I've just dropped the running order in, but I can't remember exactly how it went. But essentially, the games with no or less jeopardy will start. The first one is going to be Tutavua versus AFC. So Tutavua for the last time this season. Line like this. Youngberg is in. For Roy Keane, who was suspended, and Mourinho back in at centre-back. And over at AFC, there was no submission from Rocks, so Boyer is out. Barry Ferguson and Velas can drop out. And we will put in CISO, and the rest of it can stay as it is. So for the last time, Tutavua and AFC. Good luck to both. Not that either probably care how it turns out. Serginho into the book, and Contra has opened the scoring for Tutavua. Mixed joy for Tutavua over the course of the save, but very, very competitive. Made it to a final a couple of seasons back. AFC have in the main struggled throughout. 3 attempts, Tutavua, 2 on target, 1 for AFC. Michelini on a 5, 6 and 7 for everybody else, and no issues with fitness. I'm assuming Rocks is not with us. Go across to OB and media, see if they want to do anything. Assist coming from Robin. RIP to Robin and this save and his appalling stats and potential and all the rest of it. And one day when we return to the original database, I'm pretty sure he will still be in high demand. 60 we go for OB. Great chance for Crispo, a little bit of an early click there, but we will roll with it anyway. Predominantly Tutavua on the front foot. No real change for AFC. Andrew been exceptional on this save for Warriors, and then AFC having a good game. Radoy and Michelini struggling. Evening to everyone who's here. Steve just joined us. I've seen Liam, I've seen Media, I think I've seen Daz, Tato, Duggan, Rob, and I'm sure there's probably a couple more lingering in the background. Maybe not. Who knows? So we'll just see if OB wants to make one final change before his Tutavua side are laid to rest. Intrigued to see if anyone's had any thoughts about rebranding team names for the new save. If anybody is going to carry on with the current franchise, or if everybody's going to freshen it up. Drop some suggestions in the chat. That would be good. That's the wrong side. So for Youngberg. No, that's also wrong. Fucking hell. Youngberg for Eto. There we go. Ron R2 will be retired. 100% changing. Yeah, I would expect probably everybody to change. But I'm sure there'll be a little bit of time between this finishing and us drafting for people to get their ideas put together. Looks like Toothrow are going to close out with a victory. And they do take it 1-0 over AFC. Even game in terms of chances. Side picks up on man of the match performance and a very good save for him. Really good performance. Lots of 8s and 9s in there for the home side. Not so much for the away side. And Ciso comes in for what could be his first appearance of the entire save. And gets an 8. As does Andre. Yeah, that is that. So next up, we're going to Rapa Nui line up like this. Just Kurt in for the suspended Stewart. And Wanganui bring in Figo and Tetradze. And for the last time, Wanganui and Rapa Nui. I'm absolutely intrigued to hear Rob's latest creation, invention, concept, team name. That is always a good topic of discussion. Del Vecchio has put Rob 1-0 up on a stroke of half time, and just in time, Sav has joined us. Half time, 1-0 behind. Rob was with us earlier, whether he still is or not, I'm unsure. 2 attempts for Rapa Nui, just the 1 for Wanga. Materazzi with an 8 assist for Mark Kerr back into the side. Over at Wanganui. Johnny Cheddar, solid as ever. Rio Ferdinand doing okay. As is from Stafford. We'll just see if Rob wants to do anything, if he's still about. Yeah, echo your comments to it. Two boys have done a great job over the last 4 seasons. Making a final in the first iteration / save is exceptional. I don't think Rob's here, so we're going to run it. Once the season's concluded, Candela's doubled the lead for Rapa Nui. Once the season's concluded, I will... Samba gets one back. He's been on fire this season, coming into his prime. 2-1 Rapa Nui. Just the 3 attempts for each side. I'll put my head together with Swanee over the next week or two and filter the spreadsheet that he's got, and share some stats based on the 4-season save of this iteration of the All-Stars. Be interesting to see. We'll have a look at an overall league table, some records in terms of wins and losses, streaks, etc. And we could potentially have a little vote for Kingford Donor. Vote for player of the save, etc. For the last time, then we're going to be unwrapping. We're going to play out the last 20 minutes. Pretty even game, but 10 minutes left for Wanganui to secure a point or more. Heading towards stoppage time, Rapa Nui hanging on. Big chance for Wanga at the end, but it does finish 2-1. Another even game has concluded. 5 attempts versus 6, 3 on target versus 4, 7s and 8s across the board for Rob. Decent away performance and a good win. Assist for Brugink and Kerr. Milevsky picks up man of the match for a 9 and an assist. Rio Ferdinand on a 9, as well as Samba. And that takes us to, let's have a look, Unicorns versus the league leaders / winners, who line up like this. Volodinkov in on the left, Joe Cole into the centre, and Unicorns line up like this. Mark Poom in goal for their farewell. I'm sure we'll probably see some iteration or of rebrand of the Unicorns for Smuts. I think Vanuatu will just be happy to get through this with no injuries or suspensions ahead of the playoffs. To be honest, there are probably a few of us looking at that tonight as well. I know that I have rotated a couple of players based on the fact that I don't want them suspended for the first round of the playoffs. And Vanuatu 1-0 up at half-time through Nicholas Anelka, who has had an exceptional save. 8s and 7s for everybody, bar Ronaldinho, who's picked up a yellow card over at the Unicorns. Don't know as much as about, but Matt Toombs on a 5. Daisy and Pat Satsoglu on 8s, 7s and 6s for everybody else. Now, what is state? I don't think Smuts is about or actually gives a shit, so we'll just roll this one on. Look out for Hoffland. And it's Volodinkov on goal. Sees Unicorns level. No real change in terms of ratings for Vanuatu. Die on a 9, as you would expect. Ronaldinho on a 6. I don't think it's been great for Vanuatu, to be honest. 5 in 14 is okay. Plenty of bookings across at the Unicorns. No real change in the team rating. So we'll just see if Steve wants to do anything. Quick check on the condition, which looks pretty solid. And Steve is going to roll it again. So we'll play this one out. And it is 25 yards. The guy I said has not done a great deal. Ronaldinho with an exceptional goal to put Vanuatu back in front. And Van Mol from the penalty spot has pulled the Unicorns level to a piece. Very, very rare. I'll have to concede 1-2. So, yeah. Not sure Steve will be overly pleased with that. Decent performance from Unicorns, 9 attempts, 7 on target. Pat Satsoglu takes man of the match. Some decent performances in there. Assist for Roy Mackay over at Vanuatu. Goals from Ronaldinho and Nelka. And they finish the regular season with a point. Next, we have got Bushrats, who look like this. Same tactic as last time. Kevin Knox is in for somebody. Can't remember. Valharan. Santa Cruz off the bench with Swishikovsky on. And over at Blitz, who have already guaranteed a playoff spot. I think they potentially could switch places with Vikings, 3rd and 4th. Potential different playoff opponents line up like this. pretty sure it is as is. Got one change Stanich into the bench. So let's see how. Oh, we've got a ghost game, which is not ideal, but it doesn't really change things, to be honest. So that is going to take us to the big game, which we'll see. Dimble, you've just ghosted, so you're going to be last. This is going to take us to Hobart. Now, what this means is Hobart need to win to put pressure on the Dragons and Aborigines. This is how they line up. Very familiar formation. Simcoe back in and Milito, so pretty much at full strength for Hobart. And as I say, they need to win to put some more pressure on the guys later on. Can't remember if it was an assist from Hodgie or we didn't get anything, but either way, that is where we're at. Dan, if you are here, please give me a shout. Obviously, important game for you. We'll get it kicked off. Good luck to both. If Hobart don't win, then the top 6 is going to be confirmed, but Simkoviak has opened the scoring for Hobart. But yeah, if Townsville were to get anything from this game, the top 6 will be confirmed. Oh, ZZ Robert. Ball in the net for a second time, but disallowed. Hobart, 2 chances, 1 on target, just for 1 for Townsville over at Townsville. Mendes de Silva doing okay. The caught on a 5. Plenty of 6s and 7s in there for them. Dan, I'll give you 30 seconds in case you're lingering around. Assist from Gus Lopez, who's been decent from the left for Hobart. 7s for everybody except Diageo. Duggan and I will be rooting for back into this second half for a comfortable last fixture. Daz's arse will be nipping like fuck if Townsville do lose, because they are the ones at immediate risk of dropping out. Dan said he wanted Gus from me. He will do well on left wing, he wasn't wrong. Yeah, fair. So yeah, Aborigines would be the ones to drop out on goal difference, depending on results, but they're the ones at immediate risk too. Let's have a quick look at Gus Lopez. 8 assists, 9 assists now this season, which is pretty decent. Fair play. Right, it doesn't look like Dan is with us, so we will get back to it and see where we're going to get drama at the end. Morientes equalises, but it is ruled out. And we get to 64 minutes. I will stop it just for 10 seconds in case anyone is here. Over the match, I've got loads of 5s and 6s. But all the forward players for Townsville, Morientes and Torres barely getting a sniff. Probably because it's getting mopped up in there by Tomasi and his pals. But let's run it through. Will Townsville kill the party? It doesn't look like it, because ZZ Roberts got his 10th goal of the season, and Hobart look like they are going to add massive pressure to the Aborigines and Dragons. ZZ Roberts gets his 11th, and that seals the 3 points and a big boost for the goal difference as well. Unfortunately, I don't think a 3-goal swing will be enough to get them in with a draw for either side above them. But it's still going to need a defeat from Dragons or Aborigines. ZZ Roberts picks up man of the match with a 9. Simkoviak on a 9 as well. Assist from Diageo, Tomasi and Gus Lopez. Yeah, usual suspects at the back for Townsville doing a decent job, but just trying to fight too many fires. Attacking players not at all in the game, and that puts huge pressure on the next fixtures. Now we are going to go to the Warriors versus the Dragons. We'll line up like this. We've got Chris Perry in for Rustico at risk of suspension, as are Davids and Daly, so they sit this one out. So we also bring in Welsh and Petit. And across at the Dragons, just one change. I think, oh no, we've got Konstantinou coming up front for Van Nistelrooy, Dudek's onto the bench, and Aymaz in for Zidane. So, Duggan, just give us a shout so I know you're still about, my friend. Good luck to you. We'll kick this one off. And Konstantinou, early goal to settle the Dragons' nerves and put more pressure on the Aborigines. Good stuff. Doug's still about. So a point will be enough for the Dragons to make the playoffs. Potential for them to leapfrog the Vikings as well. Penalty and on the lead. It looks like Dragons all but an unlikely 3-goal turnaround from the Warriors in the second half are going to confirm themselves in the playoffs. Robbie Carlos on a 9, Turan with an assist. Goals from Henry, who's been exceptional, 13th goal of the season, and Konstantinou over at Warriors. Not the best performance, lots of 6s and 7s. Let's have a look what we can do. We are going to take off Welsh for Sean Davis. I'm going to take off Ronaldo for Tristan and see if that can make any difference. Unlikely we score 3 unanswered goals in the second half, so it looks like, as I say, the Dragons are, and after that own goal, almost certainly in the playoffs. Get to 60-ish. Relentless performance from Dragons, stepping up when they really needed it and putting huge pressure on Dazzler in the next game. See if Doug wants to make any changes, but he'll be absolutely delighted. He's got no bookings either, so no risk of suspension, barring any stupid red cards in the last half an hour. Quick look over at us. We're just going to do Del Piero for Kutasov, because why not? And yeah, Doug absolutely protecting his prize assets in the last 30 minutes. Do not blame him one bit. And we're flying by to 75 minutes. This is all but the formalities done into the last 5 minutes. Big boost for the Dragons' goal difference as well. And we get to full time. Very impressive from the Dragons. Probably our biggest defeat of the season. I'd have to check. 7 attempts, 7 on target. Another match performance from Bobby Carlos. Must be a lot of dribbles in there or something, because not really sure what that's for. But yeah, got the 7 just on a 6, and well done to Duggan. And congratulations on the queue. Not the best from us, 7s and 6s for everyone but Petit, but we park that and move on. Now then, this is huge. Aborigines who line up like this. Trebo West returns to the side. Need a point against Vikings, who on the day could absolutely blast anybody. Although they have some big players out. Klompe, Gattuso, Nesta and Brozek. Brozek, 11 goal contributions. Gattuso, been brilliant in midfield. Klompe and Nesta, starting centre-backs, both out. So a glimmer of hope for Daz, as he needs to get a point to make the playoffs. If not, Hobart will sneak in on the last day. And it's Dede open to scoring for the Aborigines, and that must settle a few nerves for Daz. Dede's been brilliant from left wing back this season for Daz in this tactic that served him so well. Daz wins and he's in. He just needs a point to draw. So Hobart did all they could. We get to half time. One shot from the Vikings, 3 and 2 on target for the Aborigines. Zanetti having a good game. Edilson with the assist, 12-13 goal contributions, 1 and 2, brilliant for him. Over at the Vikings, Lezarazu on an 8, 7s and 6s for everybody else. I don't think Jens is about, but I'll give him a second, obviously, with it being such a big game. That is going to roll. As it stands, it is going to be Dragons above Vikings. But we've got 45 minutes to play, and let's get into it. We've got a chance, but that one goes clean over the bar. We've got an injury to Laser Azu, unfortunately. Daz, we're going to do 60 now, so have a think. I will do that for Jens. And a quick look at the stats and go across to Daz. Huge lag. It's weird. Everything seems fine my end. Connection all looks fine. Not sure why that is, but apologies, chaps. "30 minutes for Daz and the Aborigines to hold on. It's going to make a change." Yeah, probably right. Probably right. To be fair, I'm at the back of the house, furthest away from the router. It could be a bit of a just shit signal, but I have got a Wi-Fi booster being delivered today, so I'll sort that out tomorrow. It's not had time tonight. Holland for Lee Young Pugh. Holland. Swap with Roma. Fiore for Danielson. Experienced heads coming on as we go into the last 30 minutes. Vikings need 2 goals. Well, they don't need 2 goals, but to eliminate Aborigines, they do. If they get one back, we'll slow it down, and Nikolai can't miss. And it is 1-1 with 20 minutes to play. Now Daz's ass has just fallen through the floor. A Vikings goal would see Aborigines eliminated. 10 minutes to play. Vikings pushing for a winner. Rui Costa with a chance, but it goes wide. 3 minutes added. Is there any late drama? Is there going to be stoppage time heartache for Aborigines? Egeo picks up a booking. Corner to Vikings. Frey gets it clear. Aborigines on the counter. And we are into literally the last seconds. Oh. Zanone has picked up an injury. That's going to be nutty. A swap with Vieira. 2 minutes, Daz. 2 minutes. Keep the ball out. And there we go. We have got our playoff 6 confirmed. Well done to Daz and Aborigines getting over the line. Twitchy finish. Vikings got a goal back, but not enough, and heading to the playoffs. Not in the best of forms. 9 for Toldo, 9 for Tudor. A few 8s in there across at Aborigines. Adilson did well with an assist. Goal for Deddy Tribo. West back into the side with a monstrous defensive performance. Picks up man of the match. Congratulations, Daz and Jens. We both confirmed their playoff spots, and now back to the Bush Rats, who line up like this. And we've had a look at the team, so we'll get straight into it. Bushrats versus Blitz. Although I think Tato forgot his team name because he submitted a new tactic file with the subject as Badger's tactic. Don't be sorry, Dad, you've earned it. As Duggan says, you've ground it out. So Nicky Frank opens the scoring. No, absolutely right. I don't think anybody's done more across the league in the last 12, 18 months or last couple of seasons than Daz. Not only that, put in a lot of graft to try and turn his side around. So credit to you where it's due, and good luck in the playoffs. Knox sent off. Don't like Dimble, not like Dimble to beat me. Would hint at a little bit of sarcasm. And we'll go to halftime. Vogel has doubled the lead. And we get to halftime 2-0, sorry, Bushrats. 0, Blitz 2, 7 attempts, 6 on target for Blitz. Assists have come from Danny Hussain and Montella. Up front, assisting Vogel and Nikiforenko over at Bushrats. Knox on 5 after his red, 7s and 6s for everybody else. Run it. Dims, anything for you, my friend? Nikiforenko for Stanic. Hagen for Samuel. Hagen Samuel for from Tiller. Dimble absolutely protecting his key assets ahead of the playoffs. So we will run at 60. I'll stop it there for the last time. Okay, we'll run it to 60, no problem. Quick look at the stats. Dimble's made all his changes. 7 and 6 to 4 and 1 for Bushrats. No real change. Barter's having a really good game under quite relenting pressure. And we will run this one through and then have a look at what that means for the table, the playoffs. Get a schedule drawn up, and the season concluded. Pippo Inzaghi with his first goal for Blitz makes it 3-0. 10 minutes to play. And a red card for Alan Smith. It's going to do nothing to change it. We're just going to run it. And a comfortable win for Blitz as they pick up some form into the playoff. 13 attempts. 10 on target. Sol Campbell, man of the match, with a 9, 8s and 9s for almost everybody. Even the subs come in and did a good job over at the Bushrats. One to forget. 8s for Scally. And Bartes. So that means, quick look at the results: 3-0 Blitz over Bushrats, and Dragons over Warriors, and Hobart over Townsville. 2-4 1 AFC 0, Unicorns and Vanuatu 2 apiece. Vikings Aborigines 1 apiece. Wanganui 1, Rapa Nui 2. This is how we look. Quick look at the table. Vanuatu take the title by 7 points from Warriors, who are a point ahead of Blitz. And then we've got the playoffs confirmed with Vikings, Dragons, and Aborigines. Unfortunately, Hobart have missed out on the last day despite getting the win they needed, because everybody did what they had to do Rapa Nui leapfrogged the Bush Rats on the last day. Tutavura in 10th, Wanganui, Unicorns, AFC and Townsville. Player stats and Dai takes the average ratings, followed by Jeremy's goals. Obviously, there's still the playoffs to come, but Maxim, Henri would have to do something special to overtake Joe Madeira in terms of assists. Ron has a leapfrogged Alan Smith onto 11, Gus Lopez with 9, and that means we look like this: Blitz versus Aborigines and Vikings versus the Dragons. So how does it look? It looks like this. We will play the first. We will play. So I confirm in the chat. I just want to make sure that all managers are available for the playoffs. But Duggan's offered to play the first half of the playoffs tomorrow. So Steve, Dims, Daz, who else? Me, Jens, and whoever else it was. To Duggan himself, I guess, to confirm that you're available tomorrow. Don't really want to play the playoffs with managers missing. But we will play tomorrow the first and second leg of those. Then we'll play the major semi-final. That'll be me versus Steve, both legs, and the minor semi-final tomorrow, which would leave the prelim final and grand final for Sunday night with Daz. Yeah, good shout, Doug. I mean, if everybody's about and it's a fast pace, and we could wrap it up in one, then I guess we could. If people want to leave it till Sunday, want the traditional grand final on a separate stream, we can also. But we can chat about that anyway. Thank you very much for your participation over the last season, 4 seasons really, of the original database. Thanks for everybody who's helped out with streaming and packs and all the rest of it. And yeah, we'll get this wrapped up, get somebody a star, and then yeah, plan towards next season. Updated 2026 database and something new and exciting for us all. Right, I'll speak to you all soon, chaps. We'll get something drawn up confirming what that looks like, and speak to you soon.